Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. With Hearthstone Heroic Tavern Brawl being the topic of the day, I went ahead and had ChatGPT, the AI, write a poem about Hearthstone's Heroic Tavern Brawl. So, the assignment: write a poem about Hearthstone Heroic Tavern Brawl in the style of Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. Why did I choose Poe's The Raven? Well, Poe's The Raven gives the AI quite a few chances. The poem can be in any kind of tone, really. I mean, it can be positive, it can be negative about Tavern Brawl, it can be longing for the Tavern Brawl. Also, The Raven is a narrative poem that is written very clearly in a specific meter. So it is kind of artificial in its construction, which would mean that an AI should be able to replicate the idea of the Raven because you just put words in very specific ways. But how did the AI do? Let's read the poem. Once upon a tavern night so drear, where Hearthstone brawls did oft appear, a hero stood before the door, with decks of cards he had in store. With quavering voice he spoke and said, O tavern keeper like a bed, for I have come to play a game in Hearthstone's heroic brawl, what a shame. And the hero shuffled through his deck, a raven perched upon the tavern's wreck. Its beady eyes did seem to gleam, and its voice did softly whisper, nevermore. The hero trembled at the bird's refrain, for in his heart he felt such pain, for he had lost in many a round, and victory eluded him never to be found. And still the raven perched above, its shadow cast upon the tavern's roof, and with each play the hero grew, more and more alarmed by what it knew. At last the hero rose with haste, and fled the tavern away he raced, for the raven's voice did echo in his mind, and he knew that he'd never be one of Hearthstone's kind. And still the raven sat alone, in the tavern where heroes had flown, its voice still whispers nevermore, in the Hearthstone Heroic Tavern Brawl. Well, that was a load of junk. Well, it's funny how negative this is about Hearthstone, which clearly was not part of the assignment. I mean, if anything, it could have longed after the Heroic Tavern Brawl. After all, the Raven is about longing, it's about loss. It's not about being afraid of something like this kind of Tavern Brawl, it's about loss. And also the stylistic choices. The Raven uses a lot of alliteration. The Raven uses a lot of middle rhymes instead of end rhymes. This is almost completely written with end rhymes. And of course, this is not in the same meter as the Raven either. And like some of the characteristic features of the Raven, Poe wrote extensively about how he wrote the Raven. And one particular thing was that writing the end first, so that the final stanza would be the biggest stanza, so that then he could write all the others before that, so that the emotion flows the right way. And this doesn't quite achieve that. Also, the repetition and the very open sound of nevermore. Well, yeah, I figured nevermore might be included, but in this it's included in very strange ways. Like here, nevermore is not the word that actually ends the stanza, and it's not repeated in the same way. Like, this is kind of what ChatGPT does. It writes stuff that is seemingly okay. Like, you read it and you understand the words and that stuff, but this is just complete bollocks. So, a little bit of cheap fun, I guess, at the expense of the Heroic Tavern Brawl, but sadly, not a good literary achievement, even though Poe's poem would very specifically be something that an AI could write, because it was even criticized as seemingly artificial because of its precision. But this just lacks that precision. Anyway, probably my favorite stanza in this one is the hero trembled at the bird's refrain, for in his heart he felt such pain, for he had lost in many a round, and victory eluded him never to be found. That is so cruel about Hearthstone, but that was probably the most fun in this cheap fun. And yeah, Raven sits alone. Voice whispers nevermore in Hearthstone Heroic Tavern Brawl. Yeah. I don't know what the point of this video is really, other than, hey, ChatGPT is kind of trending, so let's do something with that, and Tavern Brawl is trending, let's do something with that. And also just trying out the literary skills of this engine with a poem that is very structured and pretty easy to analyze whether the AI is able to actually write in that style, and it is not. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.